And we're live. Welcome to
Oh,
episode 16 of RugRoast. Just put on a little music while I do this. Ow. All right. Yo, welcome. We got our song on the loop right now, so I'm gonna turn that off. I thought I turned that off, but I didn't. That's okay. We've got 2160 with me here in the studio for episode 16 of Rug Roast. Um, what's up, man?
hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Just chilling. So today we had a little bit of a cancellation type of deal. Unfortunately, our neither of our guests could make it. One of them rescheduled, and the other one was on this morning at like 4 in the morning because they missed the time zone thing. So no worries. We'll just have kind of an open mic. We'll let people come up, and then you and I are gonna go over a couple projects that we like. Whether it's art or whatever. But yeah, that's the plan, man.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
And it is like way too warm to be wearing all this shit. But I mean, look at that. It's fucking dope, dude. The RLD merch. Did you get yours yet?
So I haven't got mine yet. I have 3 notifications from DHL for 3 separate shipments. I don't even remember how much I ordered. Like I think I ordered as much as the system would let me in several different sizes. So the plan is to keep one hoodie, one beanie, and one shirt completely unpackaged in the box, along with the same thing, the hat and the hoodie and the shirt for Rec Guy, just for nostalgia purposes. So it'll go in a bin full of shit that I never open, and maybe it'll be maybe I'll pull it out on like the 10-year anniversary and wear it, something like that. Because the other one that I wear is just gonna get trashed because I'll wear it all the time.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good idea. I thought about doing that, but I'm too cheap, so I'm just trying to be like super careful with this. Like, I'm
Yeah, man.
afraid to wear it
We
outside.
both got kids. I don't know, and dogs. Like I don't know if they're super careful, but yeah, just good luck. Black always seems like a good idea, but black gets dirty so easy, and it can show up really easy depending on what you get on it.
That's right, man. The dog hair definitely shines on the black for sure. So yeah, today we're just chilling. Like we got spaces going. If anyone wants to talk, just request. You can come up and say whatever the fuck you want to say, dude. I don't care. But I wanted to open it by saying, dude, did you watch the alien hearings from Congress this week?
Yeah. So here's my hot take on this. Society sucks, right? Because if we were in the 70s and the government held national hearings, the US government held national hearings in Congress about aliens, the entire world, not just the US, the entire world would be freaking the fuck out. And instead, in 2023, nobody gives a shit because we have created a society who only cares about themselves. And so nobody cares. Like literally, you have Navy pilots who I had heard these stories from Navy pilots when I was in the Army, when I was deployed and stuff like that, about these things that they couldn't identify, doing things that like physics couldn't explain. Um, but like there's just no reaction. Like nobody cares, man. And I don't get it because aliens. It's
It's
aliens.
aliens. They're real, dude. Like based on what these dudes said, like they're fucking real. Like, did you
Yeah.
hear the different stories they told?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they're under oath, so hopefully it's not all fabrication and you can convince yourself of believing anything, so who knows. But if the government has proof, it's a national security risk, and it's also a scientific thing that like people should be studying and get to know. I mean, obviously if aliens came here, their technology is far more advanced than what we have capable of doing at the moment, and we'd want to research that, right? Statistically, I've always believed in aliens because it's really hard to think that like all those galaxies out there, billions and trillions of stars, that like we're the only fucking floating rock in space that got like cognitive you know, abilities in human form, right? Like, so for me it totally makes sense. um you know, I think Elon posted something that was like the scariest theory is we are completely alone, like we there is nothing else out there, right? And like what does that bring to like the weight of humanity? Like if we don't get the fuck off this rock and like the sun explodes and wipes out the only conscious living beings ever to exist, that would be crazy. It's all psyop until they show
It's
proof.
all psyop until they show proof. Damn,
I mean,
G-Man.
sometimes you got to believe in stuff, man. I know seeing is believing for some people, but sometimes, you know, the math just for me, the math plays out. Now, if we actually have fully like undamaged spaceships, space shuttles, space whatever flying vehicles, and we actually have biological samples, that I don't know. Like I know that that's what they testified to, but I agree with G-Man. Show me
That's
the
what he
proof.
said.
Show me the proof. But like these videos, they're pretty convincing. I will say this though, I have been in plenty of scenarios where very high tech equipment has malfunctioned and it picks up stuff that like just really isn't there, or gives you readings that really can't be explained. So who knows? But I like to think that aliens are real. G-Man likes to say, "Show me the money, show me the proof."
He said he believes, but he's got to see the proof. I mean, yeah, the dude said so in a crash recovered craft, they found non-human biologics, he said. It's fucking aliens, dude. But
Well, I don't know
the
what
part of the question is, where do they come from? Like, could they come from down in the ocean? I don't know, man. Ocean's pretty fucking deep.
I never considered that. There's that meme or whatever that going around that like scientists from NASA actually started in the ocean and like from 1940 to 1970, and then they were like, yeah, we need to get the fuck off this planet. Let's go discover what's in space. So what did NASA find in the depths of the ocean that scared the shit out of them to like reprogram their entire organization?
Probably what we consider alien. I don't fucking know, dude. It's crazy. I hope that like they're able to subpoena a bunch of people and subpoena a bunch of documents and like release proof. Like that's what I'm hoping comes out of this, because
I mean,
yeah, man.
I don't hold my breath. It took forever to get a lot of Kennedy documents, and that's just because, you know, this conspiracy theory is that the government killed Kennedy and they wanted to protect that fact. But like governments aren't designed to give up their secrets, right? Like they'll protect it to the grave. So I do believe that subpoenas will go out. I do believe they'll get a bunch of redacted information. Behind closed doors, they might get non-redacted information, but do they ever actually release 100% proof to the world? I don't know about that.
I think they should, dude. I hope it's there. I mean, that's super cool. I mean, you know, there's aliens out there, right? There has to be, statistically speaking, like you said, there has to be, because really the universe is infinite in the amount of planets. There's like more planets than there are grains of sand in the fucking world. Like that's insane.
Yeah, man. The odds are not in our favor that we're the only special thing to get created in the universe, right? From a conscious standpoint.
The
All right,
question comes in, like, where does the tech come from to get them from there to here, though? Because the amount of time it would take to travel and all that. That's the big question for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously scientists have been studying it for years. There is, you know, theory about what is technically possible that we haven't been able to achieve from our own, you know, technology that we've been able to build. But obviously, if an alien species was able to come to Earth, their harness of technology has to far surpass what we have even probably theorized. So yeah, it would definitely be interesting for sure.
Definitely.
But humanity, my message, humanity sucks. We're all too self-centered and thinking about ourselves, and that's why we don't care about the news. That aliens.
We definitely deserve a meteor. Which brings me to the next topic. Pauly. So
Okay,
Paulie
so
and
I must be living under a rock. I'm gonna be the person that says, I don't know. I saw one tweet by somebody who was talking about Pauly this morning, but I have no idea what's going on. You got to fill me in.
it's hot. Breaking
hot.
news.
All
So
right,
apparently Paulie and I guess Paulie and Ben, I don't know all the fucking details, but Paulie's involved. He's a piece of shit. This dude is a fucking piece of shit. But anyway, he launched a shitcoin and the contract allows for wallets to be just completely drained. So
Ooh.
I read somewhere $10 million cooked already. Probably going to be worse, but like, first of all, I mean, I don't understand why anyone supports this dude. He's a grifter. He's a piece of shit, and he talks shit about real builders and creators doing hard work in this space. So he's like the probably, in my opinion, the most scummy dude in all of crypto.
Is he the guy that like posted like send me something to my wallet and then he never dropped anything? Is that the same dude?
Yeah,
I don't
was
know.
that him?
I
don't
thought
know
it
for
might
sure,
be him, but I don't want to slander him with that if that didn't happen. But yeah, dropping a shit coin that's got a drainer attached to it, like either you're not a dev, like I wouldn't know. Like I could go to somebody and say, hey, I want to drop a coin. I need dev work done. They could put whatever they want in the contract. I would have to trust the dev, right? So maybe that's the scenario, or maybe that was the angle, right? Become super popular on social media, drain millions of dollars, and then bounce and get the fuck out and go to some country that you can't be extradited to or from, or won't hold you accountable. I mean, it's still the wild, wild west, man. Look at the fucking news from yesterday. Sam Bankman-Fried, like fucking all the charges were dropped against him. Like, donate $93 million to politics. And, when you get charged for like one of the biggest fucking financial scams in history, because you donated to both sides, they'll just make it go away. Like that's what we're talking about. So
A meteor.
Yeah, I don't know about the meteor. Like I got a family, I got loved ones. I'm too young to die. But like, what I will say is, we've always talked about security, like coming up in the last 3 years in this space. But I think not a lot was said about common sense. Like, if the guy seems to be scammy, like, is the risk worth the potential reward? And if you get scammed from it, you need to take ownership that, like, you made that conscious decision. Like, nobody forced you with a gun to your head to sign the transaction. So, educate yourself on what is possible in this space, educate yourself on who you're deciding to give money to, and educate yourself on the risks, and then don't cry when something shitty happens. Own it and say, look, I got scammed, I made these decisions, and move on. Now, from the other direction, if Pauly did it on purpose, yeah, like that's just fucking terrible, man. Like we hate to see those people in the space, but unfortunately they just continue to be here because they can continue to get away with it. And
yeah, whether he did it on purpose or not, though, I mean, he's the dude is a piece of shit. I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, he probably
him.
didn't do it on purpose. But
Yeah, I don't follow him enough to know. I just like if he did it on purpose, that's shitty. If he didn't do it on purpose, that's also shitty. If he cares about his reputation, he would try to make it right. I don't know if he has the ability to do that or not. Or like you just fucking bounce, you disappear, and you and your dev are laughing somewhere in fucking Monaco drinking, $8,000 champagne. I don't know.
Depressive hacks, you got your hand raised. What's up, man? And good to meet you finally. Yo, what's up, man?
Technically, like a standard drainer, it was more of
It does make sense. Damn, dude,
You
that's
think that
fucked
was
up.
designed on purpose?
It might be. I don't know. It's only 2160. And also, your volume isn't coming through on YouTube, which is weird because, like, my shit's on. It's slid up. But yeah, basically for the people on YouTube, what Depressive said is that the contract, anyone who is holding the asset they can basically just drain each other back and forth. Like you can just put in a function to drain people if you're holding the asset. So it's just like an absolute free for all. Gman, let's talk about putting something together to take full advantage of this. I know you've got some serious dev capabilities. So if we could look into getting set up to drain a bunch of people, that would be great.
So yeah, I can't hear him either. But my couple of my questions are: was it designed like this on purpose? Like, is it some kind of social experiment? And two, can you only drain that specific asset? You can't touch anything else in the wallet. Like, those would be my two questions.
So Depressive, did you hear that? I don't know why the volume's not going back and forth, dude. This is fucked. All right, he's pinning something right now. G-Man, I put a link in Discord if you want to come up on stage, dude. I know you're busy, like drinking bourbon and chasing alligators and stuff. But if you want to come up on stage, you can. All right. Pauly launched a shitcoin today. Some got wrecked. Some made a lot of money. Primary change implemented was a direct transfer function that allows anybody to transfer anybody else's tokens to any address. I'm sorry, I can't say without laughing. Holy shit. This malicious function was likely only partially intentional. Ownership checks are handled, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's a long thread. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's pinned in the Twitter spaces. But yeah, that's insane, man. And that's why, one, always use a burner, right? So if you're going to get into shitcoins, like put your funds into a wallet with nothing else in it and use that to get your shitcoins, right? Or anything, if you're minting anything. And then two, maybe don't trust. Well, I trust very few people. I double check links and all that, but that wouldn't even help here. But maybe don't trust scummy shitbags is another tip. So yeah, that's crazy, man.
What up, boys?
Insane, man. G-Man, can you hear Depressive now? Cannot.
Yeah, I can't hear him. That's why I keep going on mute, because I'm turning my phone up so there won't be a huge echo. But I don't know why it's not coming through.
I don't either, dude. I've got my phone dial up. I've got all my shit plugged in. Double check.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I didn't get to read the thread. I'll go back and read it. It would be weird or really sad if you can drain other assets out of the wallet if it's just not specific to that token that was made. But even then, like, that would be an LP disaster. Somebody sets up an LP and then somebody else can come and just drain all of the tokens. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm with Burn. Like, I support people that I can trust, and that would not be somebody that I think that I would be able to trust. And if you want to gamble, there's nothing wrong with that. Just own up to it when you get rugged that it was a complete gamble and you had some some culpability and responsibility for it.
Yeah, you're always at fault as well, right? Like if you buy something that's not a great investment, it's like you're the one that did it. So, I mean, at the same time, there's definitely fiduciary responsibility on anyone that's like minting or selling or doing anything like that to do it right, or at least not have functions in where everyone can drain each other. But yeah, G-Man, what do you think, man?
I thought it was funny. Zach XBT was posting about this, and I guess some of the bigger Poly supporters, the one dude that was stealing everyone's money was like sending them ETH back. Like if you were a big enough Poly supporter, maybe you were getting some of your money back or something. I mean, insanity. Why anyone would, like you said before, why anyone would send money to his wallet is beyond me. But I guess people don't care about the ethics of it, right? They just think number's going to go up. I'll risk a little bit here. Hopefully not something that'll break the bank, and I'll get a quick 2 or 3x and be out. And they don't give a shit if it's supporting him or not.
And I'm totally fine with that because I believe that we're still kind of in this unregulated, wild west phase of crypto. And if you're gonna take that risk or you don't care about the ethical or moral implications, understanding that if you make money off of it, somebody else lost money off of it because this money doesn't appear out of nowhere. If you're fine with all of that, don't also then turn around and be the loudest people in the room complaining about how you got rugged. Like, just own it. Like, if you're gonna be a gambler, then gamble. That's like going into a casino and then screaming at the top of your lungs that they stole your money. No, they didn't. Like, you decided to partake. Like, and that's fine that there are people out there that want to do that. I just can't stand the hypocrisy of like then wanting to cry about it and being like, oh, I lost all my money. I can't pay my rent this month. Like, all right, well,
Yeah,
there are consequences to your actions.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see more generally in the space is everyone likes to scream for like free markets. Like everyone loves the free market. It's free market dynamics until someone does something that they think is stupid, and then all of a sudden they're the biggest critic in the world. I'm like, I thought you liked free markets,
Yeah, God forbid somebody sells an NFT,
thing.
right?
I know. It's hilarious.
G-Man, do you live in Texas?
No, so I spent about 6 weeks in Texas. My daughter was in a ballet program in Houston.
Gotcha.
So I'd bounce. I'd be with Locks during the week near Austin, and then I'd be in Houston on the weekends. And I went up to Dallas, hung out with Schmripto, and saw like the whole Bob Mallory thing, which was super cool. But I actually live in North Carolina.
Okay. I was like, it's so hot. Like, I don't know how anybody is living in Texas at the moment.
It was, for the 6 weeks I was there, half the time I was there was 105 plus.
That's crazy.
It was pretty tough. So, I mean, Carolina's hot. I'm back here. I just got back here a few days ago. But it's nothing compared to like what Texas is doing. I feel like I'm starting to look for real estate like way up north after experiencing that for 6 weeks.
Come to Michigan, dude. It's super cheap up here.
I think I don't know. Like, I would be looking at real estate like right in the middle of the United States because in the next, like, not that it's happening anytime soon. You're not going to give a shit about your real estate at this point, but like the Ice Age, like it came down so far into the US that like I would be looking at that line, right? And then like for me, I can't stand humidity. So it would have to be someplace with a dry heat because humidity is just not. Californians and humidity are not a thing that like go well together.
Yeah, I heard a thing that within 50 years, no one will be able to live in any of the southern states at all, because it'd just be too damn hot. And so Montana is like my dream spot. I've been wanting to move there for a couple of years.
Real estate,
and there's
cheap, man.
Yeah, I'd be there already, but there's no, like, my daughter's literally like hopefully going to be a professional ballerina, and there's nowhere for her to train.
Right.
But I would be living in Bozeman. It is like the perfect spot. I'm a mountain guy anyway. I really like the mountains. But yeah,
you've been watching Yellowstone a lot, huh?
I haven't. Everyone says, like, I'm really careful about new shows I bring into my life because like it's a huge time commitment,
Right.
So I haven't watched it yet, but everybody tells me like I have to.
It's a good show, dude. It starts out like the first episode, I'm like, oh, this acting is a little gross, and then it gets way better. So you got to get a couple episodes in because the pilot a lot of times is going to be shitty, but
Dude,
yeah, it's a good show.
My cousin moved his entire family from Florida to Idaho, and like we were just comparing like expenses because he works, remotely online. So like we're just comparing expenses, and I was like, man, if I wasn't stuck in California, like Idaho expenses, that's where it's at. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we
Michigan's
did a couple
cheap,
years
too.
ago. And he keeps coming back to Michigan. It's almost like his victory hoodie comment, right? He's like stuck in a rut a little bit.
Exactly. He's stuck on repeat. He also literally started this show by saying, God, it's too fucking hot to be wearing this sweater and this beanie. So, I don't believe anything he fucking says.
And dude, I step outside right now. It's like taking a bath. Like it's fucking muggy and it's like 90 degrees. I don't know. It's hot as shit, but
if you're an OV simp, this is the kind of shit you do. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Oh yeah, we don't care. I mean, and I feel more wrecked when I'm really hot and sweaty too. So it's a bonus. Like it's a win-win.
Exactly.
Feeling shitty is a win.
The stench that's gonna come off of that sweater in like the next 3 weeks, because he'll never wash it, is gonna.
I'm not washing it. No,
it's gonna be ridiculous.
This is not getting washed because if I wash it, it could I don't know, it could change the original sweaterness of it or something. But
all right. Well, I don't think we have a plan for the show today outside of maybe Bern and I talking about some projects that people might not be that familiar with or that launched a while ago, and we wanted to revisit. So, G-Man, welcome to hang out and give your.
I got an idea.
Oh.
How about so we'll each do one, and then G-Man can take us through his Jack Butcher stuff if you want.
That would be amazing because I have no idea. I know nothing about Jack Butcher except for he's like a marketing genius. But I own 0 assets. So if G-Man, if you want to explain to us the conundrum that is Jack Butcher, that would probably be great.
I'm always down to talk Jack Butcher. So you guys let me know whenever you want to go there. I'm ready. I'll be here.
You go first, man. You're a special guest today. So if you want, you can start ripping into it. Feel free to present and share the screen as well.
Did you have other projects that you were trying to talk about first, or you didn't really have any?
So we did, but they both one had to reschedule, and the other one was on at 4 a.m. because he didn't look at the time zone. So
that's challenging, yeah. So so Bern knows a little bit about Jack. I onboarded Bern to Jack very, very minorly, right? We got on the call one day, and he grabbed some additions, I think, and then he put them on chain to see if he'd pull a rare one, and pulled a couple floors. And that happens for sure. But I don't know. It's tough. Like where should we start? What you guys have questions in particular? I mean, Jack's whole thing is like pretty broad at this point and a little expansive. Like what should we talk about?
Let's talk about the additions first. Like how does it work? Because there's a gambling element, which obviously that's how you got me, because I was like, oh, I can gamble. So
right. Yeah. So Checks was a open mint. It might have been $8. It was either a free mint or $8. I'm not sure which. The Opepens were similar, and it was just an addition. And there was all this speculation of like they were going to go crazy. I mean, they went up to like 3 ETH each. So the speculation was just out of control, of what was going to happen here. But if you own an edition, you can migrate it on chain, and you have a chance to get a gradient or a small color band, or there's this whole radiant, scarcity mentality or component to it. And where I got him was I got really lucky on my pulls, right? So I was telling Bern, like, oh yeah, I got mostly gradients, and I got a 5 color band, and I got a 1 color band, all these things, So like when you hear your friends saying this kind of stuff, you just want to go do it. So you get these, and then you can move them on chain, and you get an 80 check that's going to have some spectrum of colors on it. I'm following along here. where you're at, right? So these are floor checks, right? You can kind of tell that they don't look particularly special with like a nice gradient or something like that. And if you combine 280 checks together, you get a 40 check. And then 240 checks together, you get a 20 check, et cetera, down to one check, of which I believe there's around 61 checks now.
Did I see that you had a one check?
I'm happy to say I have a one check. Yep. So, and it matches. So I also have a one-of-one alien Opepen, and I got a color match, very close. So I was pretty happy about that. And so if we all, as one check holders, if we decide to all put them together, 64 one checks will become a single black check. And so if you do the math, there can only ever be 3 black checks in the entire collection. Will there ever be one? I don't know. You know, Schmripto had 555 checks, I believe, and I believe he's down to basically put them all toward a check, a single black check. So I don't know. I mean, the math is a little tough when you start adding that up, right? 4,000 checks to get one of these things. So
That's insane. Dude, I didn't even know about the black check. Like that's I'm sure someone will do it.
It's the ultimate goal. Yeah, they had set up a DAO. Again, Schmripto, you guys probably know him. You know, he was a PV whale. I think he was pretty big in Huxley too, but he's like been in Jack Butcher, Checks Maxi for a long time. I think he set up a DAO, and he's a good chunk of the way there, right? 500 out of 4,000. I mean, still got a long way to go. But it's tough. Like, so I've got this one check, and it's cool. But if you said, "Hey, will you put it in to the mix here?" That's a big investment, right? Even at the floor prices currently, which is lower than it had been traditionally, it's like over 30 ETH to make a one check. Yeah. So you're talking about someone putting in some real financial investment.
Yeah, and then what would you do with it? Okay, so the DAO gets this one black check. How does everybody monetize off of it from there?
Right.
Seems a little complicated.
You hold it.
You hold it.
Yeah.
You hold it and it goes up in value, and then you just borrow money against it. I don't know. That would be like the only.
You'd probably be able to you could DAO it. You could turn it into a DAO and have tokens or something like that, right? And then you can sell your portion, buy and sell your portion. But
yeah, it's just I kind of agree though. It's like, hey, I own 1/64th of this black check or something.
Right.
Like, okay.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I don't know. The black check could become the next Mona Lisa. I'd like to own 1/64th of the Mona Lisa.
True. Absolutely. And it was just perfect timing with Jack. As you said, he's a master marketer, and the time frame around who's notable, who isn't. Can you pay $8 and become notable? He just played that so perfectly, and you're starting to see that in Opepens too, or you've seen it in the first 10 drops. Is he's just so timely with things. Apple comes out with the fancy VR headset, and he drops a collection on it like that week.
Yeah, it always
he
seems
just really has his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, and his turnaround is so quick. Like it literally is not like Apple drops it and then 3 weeks later. It's like Apple drops it, and 2 days later he's ready to roll with the concept, which is crazy. So explain the Opepen world that Jack Butcher then transitioned to after Checks, right?
Yep. So Pepin, same as the Checks. It was an addition, and he kind of, I think he even said, I probably won't do anything with it, or whatever. It's just cool. Everyone's doing these additions now. And then one day he just dropped a tweet that said OPE PFP. And the thing went crazy. And he kind of explored. He was going to do all AI versions. He was going to do. You can create an Opepen based on your checks colors of checks that you owned. But the one thing I really love about Jack is he builds in public very transparently, and he iterates. So when he says he's going to do something, and then they go check it, and he's like, well, if there was 16,000 Opepens that were variations of checks, it's not hard to imagine that none of them are distinguishable from any other one, right? And so he's willing to pivot and talk to the community and have this back and forth. And I think that's why people love him so much. Because that's a hard thing, right? So as a founder, as someone who's founded things in the past, I can't imagine it. I feel like it would be impossible. And he somehow manages this communication with the community and the feedback and handles it better than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have heard that about the community. It doesn't seem like they get like riled up, or there's not a huge pushback when he pivots. And I don't know if it's just faith in one man or if it's the community that he's built. But in my experience, open editions haven't lend themselves to building the best community. So it's got to be some fucking magic spell that Jack has that he puts over people when he's fucking telling them, nah, I'm gonna switch positions on you, and everybody's just gonna accept it.
Yeah, well, he's just such a good communicator. So when he does that, he puts out a thread of 20, 30, 40 tweets explaining exactly the thought process. Here's why we rethought it. Here's why it doesn't work. Here's why the direction we're heading is going to be better for everybody. So I think that is a main differentiator for him. And then so the other really cool thing about Opepen's when he finally landed on this idea that he's going to do 200 individual sub collections inside the collection. So every however long he drops 80, a collection of 80, and there will be 200 of those along the way. And it allows him to do this. What is the current meta? What is happening culturally, technologically, in our space, in the world? And it allows him to like ride that wave and keep the attention going, right?
Right.
Like someone said on the Spaces earlier, you drop a 10,000 PFP collection in one day, and it's kind of over.
Right.
Like
You have a month. You have a month of runway of the collection being hot, and then there's a new meta.
Right. And so now it's like, oh, he could keep this going for a couple of years. Now there'll be an art to keeping that interesting.
Sure.
But he's done a pretty good job so far.
So is every single Opepen gonna reveal at some point?
Yes, there's speculation that the last set of 80 will just be the they'll just keep it the unrevealed Opepen art. So who knows about that? But yes, the idea is that eventually everyone will. So right now you have to opt in. So, let's say you have a 1 of 5 Opepen, you see the art, you like it, you have a couple days, you're like, okay, I want a chance at one of these. So you opt in. He's stated that he's only going to do that as long as that makes sense, right? Because you can imagine a world where people stop opting in,
right,
on certain sets. And so for right now, and probably for a while, it'll be fine. It'll be oversubscribed and hit their numbers. But who knows what it'll go. But he has also said like he's got other mechanics in mind that are totally different. That I'm excited to see where he goes with that. The other great thing I think is worth noting is Jaleel. He partnered up with Jaleel, who is a developer, and so someone who's managed developers for 20 some years. I can say that Jaleel's a special kind of developer, right? Like he gets the culture bit as well as a marketer, and a lot of coders just don't, right? I hate to paint with a broad brush, but you think of these cave dwelling developers like I've been working with for many years, and it's just like their finger aren't on the pulse like that. And the combination of these two guys coming together, and Trap is another one too, but really Jack and Jaleel are the face of it. This combination of them together is just a unique thing. Yeah, I'm a huge fanboy, as you can tell. But
all right. So, how many Opepens did you have that you opted in for, and then you woke up and saw that you had an alien 1 of 1 in your wallet?
So I had 22 Opepens that I bought at around 0.7. The day before they became rarity assigned to them, I started merging checks. So I had a bunch of checks also, but I didn't merge them. But there was a mechanic where if you had invested time and effort in compositing checks, you would have a better chance at getting a rare Opepen.
Gotcha.
So I got one free, quote unquote free, 1 of 1 blank, and a couple 1 of 4s and and whatever. The rest were a mix of the rest. And so I started doing WETH bids on one of ones, and I ended up with 6 one of ones. And I got rid of all the 1 of 40s, which I wish I didn't do that now, because at the time I sold them for nothing, but I was thinking, all right, I'm going to turn these not rare ones into rare ones.
Right.
So on the first set, they launched 2. I fully opted in with 22 on set 1 and set 2. I didn't get any set 1s, which is a shame, because those are the ones that are worth the most.
Right.
But I did pull 2 on set 2, which was great. Sold both of those. So I'm big on like getting my money back out.
Sure.
And so people started seeing the values on the first 2 series, and I sold 3 of my one of ones, 2 for 8.8 and 1 for 12.7. And that took my entire cost. Like I was actually all my investment recouped plus in the black, and still sitting on some nice stuff. So when I did the Alien 101, I opted in 3 unrevealed Opepens for the 101 and grabbed it. And it was like 10,000% subscribed, or 12,000%. I mean, the odds were still, I mean, bored Elon Musk has 750 Opepens, and like he's had polls where he gets nothing from opting in. So the chances are still very small.
It's always like
that.
that.
On a Zoom call. I was on a Zoom call with someone when I saw it, and I couldn't concentrate the rest of the call. It was terrible.
I can imagine. It's like when somebody like Pranksy buys 1,200 Bored Apes on Mint, but he doesn't get 1 gold. You know what I mean?
Right.
He buys 1/10 of the collection, but he doesn't pull a gold one. Like that's how infuriating it is. But it's the guy that just buys 1 that ends up with the gold one. Like it's always that way. At least it always seems that way. Well, congratulations. It looks cool as fuck. That's all I gotta say.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. I think, and I would love to talk about this. I don't know where you guys want to go, but I brought up Elon Musk and made me think about it. He's the one who started this thing with Thread Guy and the Threadition, and this conversation around PFPs and identity and brand and all of that, which to me has elevated the conversation around that a good bit over the last week or two, in my view. So we can talk about that in relation to Jack Opepens, or
let's do it.
He's also doing these.
I read.
Cool. So what do you guys know about that? Did you guys follow the Thread Guy stuff pretty good?
So I didn't know where it was born out of, other than Thread Guy is a character unto himself, and he's constantly stepping up his game in the space. And then I saw something about is he gonna switch his PFP from his mutant to an Opepen? But that's basically all I know, or all the background I have on what actually happened.
Yeah, so Bored, I tell you, he's got 750 Opepens. He did get a number from Series 1. So he went to Thread Guy and in the DMs and offered him to trade a Series 1 for his mutant. And he kept it private. I think Thread Guy's the one who went public with it and was like, should I do this or not? And so it was like a 20 ETH Opepen and Thread Guy's mutant, which it'll have a premium, right? Someone wants it. Although, there's a conversation around that too. We don't need to get into. At the end of the day, you can't become Thread Guy by buying his mutant and paying a premium.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So funny. So these guys just kept having this conversation. Should I do it or not? And so Bored ups the ante and says, well, I'll only hold your mutant for a year and then I'll send it back to you. And by the way, you don't even have to PFP this thing if you don't want. I think the rule was he just had to hold it for 3 months. And then Frank comes in, he's like, I'll give you a D-God to trade. And then oh gosh, I can't think of his name. Pudgy guy.
Luca.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's escaped me. He comes in and he's like, I'll give you 10% of the revenue of our plushies, right? And like, it just gets insane. And so in the end, Thread Guy's like, I can't do it. I need more time. Maybe I'm going to do something. And he's in this situation where he's done it he's really gone the high road, right? He hasn't monetized in terrible extractive ways. So he's got to pay his bills too, right? So
Yeah.
if I put myself, especially at his age, in this situation, it's like a really hard thing to think about. So he just opted out from kind of everyone that said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not doing it. So Jack created a PFP with the mutant colors.
Sure.
And then for no compensation, for no upside, he decides he's going to go in and change his PFP and embrace this like Opepen community and all this energy and all the stuff that happened. And it was just like, it was just such a, to be there and watch it happen kind of organically, and all that was so good. And so Jack, kind of the master he is of Web3 primitive, said there's economic energy here, and I think you should benefit from some of it. So that's when he minted that Threadition and said, hey, if anyone wants to support Thread Guy here, go mint this thing for $2.
Nice.
And, he minted over $100,000 worth of those things.
Yeah, I minted like 11 of them.
Yeah, he gets paid. The community grows, totally non-dilutive. There's this whole conversation around like, am I really stuck with this mutant for the rest of my life or not? Right? And some people might get triggered by that language, but it's the truth, right? Like some of us, I know people that feel stuck with their PFP and they're like afraid if they switch it, like their brand is ruined.
Yeah.
And I think TG, maybe not some people, but TG is bigger than that. And he's just getting started.
I remember the thread. I remember reading what kind of you were having a back and forth with some of the people that were commenting in there. And to me, what I commented to him was he's way bigger than his PFP. Like he's a larger than life charismatic figure that like IRL doesn't need a mutant behind him to be cool, right? Like he's the life of the party wherever he goes. There are people that have that and there are people that don't. So I think in his case, he has the luxury of deciding what PFP he wants to represent his brand. And there's so many examples of huge brands rebranding during their history. So I don't think it's a problem. I think the people who think that they are their community are the people that are afraid to rebrand what PFP they've been rocking for a while. So, I'm sure that there are people out there with apes, punks, I don't know, rec guys, whatever, that are like, man, I really wish I could do something else, but I just feel like this is the brand that I built. I wholly embrace this community, and it would really tear me down. But I don't think Thread Guy was ever in that box.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. And in the end, I think this was great for Bored Ape community.
Absolutely.
Right? And it allows him to show that he can still support them just as much and maybe more in the future. And it's okay. Maybe he'll go back to it. Maybe he won't. It doesn't matter. He can still play a huge role in that community.
Yeah.
And to see him grow through that election process and through that whole thing.
I was just going to say
amazing.
The arc is crazy, right? Because like he went up for that election and he didn't get it. And he got all this good press, bad press, like all this debate, whether he was qualified. And like he stayed stoic throughout the whole thing, and he really was like a great steward of this space. And like the comments that he were giving in his traditional Thread Guy style, but they're really thought out. And like I was really impressed. And then to see and to hear in this debate over his PFP that like he could have monetized at any point, something that he hadn't done before off the backs of the IP of himself that he had been building all this time. For him to walk away from multiple offers, like you don't get many people that would do that. I mean, especially at his age, that's a lot of money in a bear market where money is hard to come by, right? And like you said, bills still got to be paid. So hats off to Thread Guy, man. I think that it's awesome, and I can't wait to see like the rest of the arc that he has in his journey in Web3. I
agree. I got to hang out with him a good bit at VCon. He stayed in the Airbnb with me and Locks, and got to know him on a personal level, and I'm a big fan, right? And I went in not knowing, because that character, right? And we know a lot of characters. Like the three of us hang out with a lot of characters, and so you never know the difference sometimes with the character and the real person. And I was just so impressed again, at his age, if I look back and think of like what I was doing at, young 20s, I mean, he really got a good head on his shoulder. So to watch this play through, it was really, really good stuff.
Okay, so all of us back in the day, out of the 3 choices, which one would you have taken? It was the DGOT offer from Frank, the 10% on the plushie sales from Luca, or the Series 1 Jack Butcher Opepen. Which one are you taking?
How long is?
There was all these weird
stipulations behind all of them.
Yeah, like they all were a little different. But I get you're just saying like if you were to just straight up switch your PFP and get paid for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pudgy was a rod, so that one is kind of like off the list for me, I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
My wife.
I'm an Opepen Maxi. I'd have to go Opepen, I think. And it was the OG deal, and everyone else just seemed to be like coming in and trying to like front run the deal. So for me, I think Opepen.
I think I'd do the same and just vault it. It's a Series 1, right? So
yeah, to me it would be a difficult choice because I'm not in any of those communities. I don't have any exposure. And my wife is being very active in the comments today.
You look like a snack, dude. I was gonna say it and then she said it, so I'm happy someone did because I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
oh man. For me, it would be a hard toss-up between the DGODs and the Opepen. I think I might lean a little bit more to the Opepen because it's Series 1, and Jack just has so much runway, and he's been so charismatic and been able to like hold the attention of the space for a really long time. I do have a lot of belief that Frank is killing it as well, so it would be a hard decision. But yeah, I think I'd go Opepen Series 1 and do the same thing, vault it, come back in 20 years, see what it's worth.
There's only one Series 1, right?
Yeah,
one
exactly.
Well,
there's 80 of them, but there's only one Series 1, right?
There's one batch. There's not gonna be more Series 1s. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the background because I did not know. Like the problem as this kind of experience of Web3 has grown, I used to try to be and know everything that was going on, and I burnt myself out in 2 years. And so I really like focused my bags and focused my attention. And like, if it's not like Rug Radio or it's not like Rect Guy, like I really have blinders on because I just don't have the time for work-life balance. And so I see that these cool things are going on, like, Jack Butcher and Thread Guy and stuff like that, but I don't always get the time to actually dive in. So I appreciate the recap from G-Man. That helps out immensely.
I think one of my big takeaways is whenever G-Man mentions that he's going into something,
we got it. No,
I'm copy trading.
Look, I was in Lisbon with G-Man, and he said, "Be careful, don't copy trade my wallet. People have gotten burned." So, like,
they have
down that road. Like, just know that it doesn't always work out great.
I don't win every time. I've been really lucky though, for sure. Like, I'm grateful for that. I don't know if maybe I have a good feel for some of these things and time things pretty good or whatever, but I have definitely had some friends try to copy trade me and like get wrecked. And then they come and they're yelling at me. They're not yelling at me. They're mad at the universe, right?
Sure.
Like, what the fuck? I do the exact same thing you did, And I'm just like, man, sorry.
I would be that person. I was just talking to my wife the other day. The only luck I have is no luck, right? Like, it doesn't matter how long I've been in the space. It doesn't matter how many things I've been involved in, how many mints, what quality. Like, I've never pulled like a crazy like mints. I've never won like a crazy raffle. Like, I'm going to shout out Will Savis today. I think I've been paying attention to his timeline a little bit, and I think he won two Beeples and he won an Opepen. Like, he pulled an Opepen recently, and I'm like, dude,
he got the one of one.
Right. I couldn't do that in my entire life, and he did it in like a week. And I'm like, well, some people just literally have that horseshoe shoved all the way up their ass. And
G-Man's one of them.
I got one of those. I actually got one of those. I got one of those Beeples.
God bless America. This is not a fair system.
So here's what we got to do. I'm going to start, G-Man, if you're open to it, your wallet will be my wallet. So I'll send you ETH and I'll say, just hold my shit and do my reveals for me.
Oh my gosh.
Our chance to win.
Look, man, I've been lucky. I'm grateful for this space, and luckily through the bear. And I know it's hard on people. I don't know. I somehow just keep it calm to do the thing. Not saying I've been winning all along or anything like that, but I just don't let it get me down. I just keep cruising,
So
I think that's the biggest thing is to control the emotions. That's really hard to do sometimes.
Keep level-headed and steady. It's funny because my wallet keeps growing, but I'm not minting anything, right? It's the benefits of stuff that I've invested in during the bull market or where I've decided to be at. And it's I'm not really spending a lot or investing anything new except for my time. But then I look at my vault and the numbers keep going up, and I'm like, man, I really appreciate the stuff that I'm acquiring off the back of just participation in this space long term. And I can only imagine what that turns around to look like when you're in the bull market and those things explode in value. So yeah, I agree with you. Just being here and being even keel and trading your time to participate in the space is really the meta right now. It's really how people are gonna make it and really see a huge turnaround in the next bull. So G-Man, you're definitely one of those people. I know you work hard for Rug Radio. We appreciate everything that you do. Thanks for spontaneously jumping on the stage right now. I'm gonna wrap up the show because I gotta bounce because my wife is leaving on a road trip and I gotta say goodbye.
She wants that snack before she goes.
You look tasty, bro. You look tasty. She's like, wrap it up.
I look tasty. Anyways, so I gotta go, but today was a great show. Thanks for everybody for being here.
Yeah, thanks, G-Man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate
man,
the
I
rundown on Opepen and Checks.
It was fun. It was fun. Anytime.
All right, I'm sure we'll have people cancel again, so I'll just let you know every time.
Throw the invite to you, man.
And dude, you can come up any show you want. Just ping me and I'll send you the invite. You can chill with us on stage at any time.
All right, cool, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, nice.
Brian,
Thanks, guys.
Play us out, man.
All right, I'm gonna play us
Later,
out. Let me
boys.
turn off the loop.
All right, take it easy, G-Man.
All right, thanks, man.
Do it.
Good show.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't have to listen to me in 2160 just drone on about random shit.
Yeah, G-Man's definitely more entertaining to listen to. Fine.
Yeah. And a lot of people say he looks like my older brother or maybe a dad or something. So,
Farouk says granddad, but whatever.
Oh, that's just Farouk. He's jealous. He won't age as well.